All of us at the Pilot have a very special place in our heart for the Perkins family. First, because of our relationship with Barbara, and now because we have Bruce working with us. When I asked the staff to take a few minutes and describe what Barbara meant to each of them, several words kept reoccurring, and some of those words are excellence. Barbara believed that anything worth doing was worth doing the very best it could be, so that you could feel the joy and reward of knowing that you did it to the very best of your ability and that you could take pride in it. Average was not a word that Barbara believed in, and she constantly challenged people to strive for excellence, never average. Commitment is another word that describes Barbara, and she was unwavering in her commitment to whatever she believed in or took on. She would never let you down. It just wasn't in her to give anything less than 100%. And of course, that same commitment was given to her faith in the Lord. Caring and compassionate. Barbara could cheer someone up from a blue mood or a bad mood faster than anybody I've ever seen. She had the ability to zero right in on your feelings, and with her complete sincerity and genuine concern, your problem didn't seem so bad after all, after you shared it with Barbara. She was so thoughtful, and she loved to send flowers and notes to people who needed a special touch. And I have some of those notes that I'll cherish always. Talent. That's another word used to describe Barbara. Whether it was her beautiful piano playing or typing on a keyboard, she was truly a master at it. And it was amazing to watch her type because she was so fast and so accurate. It was just fun to go in and watch her. I'll always remember one day, and I knew how busy she was, but I needed a quite lengthy report typed up, and it was rather complicated. So I gave her a couple of days to work on it because I knew how busy her schedule was with her duties in the newsroom. I couldn't believe it. She brought it back to me in a half an hour, and it was finished and accurate and completed. Teacher is another word describing Barbara. I'd like to read what William Sampson, the editor of the Pilot, wrote about her. He said, "I will always remember Barbara as a teacher. It was easy to see how she could homeschool her 3 children, even though she had no advanced university degree. All of life was a school for Barbara, with every moment a lesson to be learned or a point to be made. But she was never pedantic. She was as quick to correct her own mistakes as she was to correct those of others. Truth was all that mattered." We all learned from Barbara, not just grammar and punctuation as part of her proofreading duties at the Pilot, but we learned about life too. We learned what strength of character and belief really mean. We learned about the power and importance of family. Barbara taught us a lot. On a personal note of Barbara as a teacher, about a year ago, after 48 years of rejecting the Lord because I thought I knew what religion was all about, He put several people in my life to help show me what it really was all about and how very simple it was, and yet how wonderful and profound a difference He can make in your life. Barbara was one of those people that He used to show me that she truly was an example of Christ living within us. And of course, another word describing Barbara is love. From Barbara, we learned that love isn't just a word to be said, but to be shown instead. The beautiful love of Christ was clearly demonstrated through Barbara. She radiated that love in everything she did, and that love is certainly reflected in this room today. As I looked at each of these words that we use to describe Barbara, I realized that they also sum up what this wonderful gift of walking with the Lord really is. and that Barbara knew it so well. To Bruce and the beautiful children, her parents, and her family, may God comfort and bless you, and may you know that God used Barbara to touch many people with his love, and that legacy will continue and live on and multiply.
I am not a public speaker. I don't even sit well in public. I make it a practice to sit in the back row in case I have to get up. I don't draw attention to myself. So when Bruce called and asked me to share some memories of Barb, my first reaction was quiet panic. But as I hung up the phone, I could hear Barb's voice saying, as she always said, when I was facing fear in my life, "You'll do fine." I feel privileged to have been Barb's friend, and I'm honored to share with you my memories of her. I know Barb would not want glory directed toward her, but to the one whom she gave uncompromising devotion to. The one from whom she gained all her wisdom, understanding, and compassion. For all of us who will miss her and all that she gave to us, we only have to reach out as she did to the source. And I know as we do that, we will also become a strength to others as she was to us. I would like to share with you a letter that I wrote to Barb a few weeks before she died. I believe it best expressed my heart toward my friend. Dear Barbara, I don't know why we wait so long to tell the people we love how much they mean to us. I hope you will be able to hear this. Barb, you have been an inspiration to me. I believe I am a different person because of knowing you. By your example, you have encouraged me to be true to my convictions and not to be afraid to stand firm when the world shouts, wrong is right and right is wrong. You have encouraged me to give a cup of cold water in his name and not to worry if the cup is chipped or the house is a mess and all I have to offer is a peanut butter sandwich. Because people need a friend more than they need to be impressed with how together we have it. You have been a model of perseverance in the midst of ongoing trials, and you have always given your best in spite of them. You were always there to encourage me and lend me wisdom. When my children were sick or when I felt overburdened with the trials of life, I could always count on your gentle, wise, and always practical counsel. Your "I won't be defeated" attitude became clear to me when I first became acquainted with you on our morning walks. Despite my longer legs and longer stride, you were determined to keep up with me as we raced up Marina Heights. You have not run the race in vain, Barb. I think of the words in a song by Twyla Paris. Runner, when the road is long, feel like giving in, but you're hanging on. O runner, when the race is won, you will run into his arms. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Proverbs 31:30-31. Thank you for being Jesus to me. Thank you for being my friend. I love you. Thank you.
This morning, as we were getting ready to come up to Brookings from Gaspee, we were trying to explain to our younger children what a memorial service was. And our youngest child, 8 years old, said, "Oh, I see, it's like a retirement party." And I thought, yeah, that's exactly it. I first met Barbara in 1973, in August of 1973, coming from Gaspee, California to Sacramento, California to go to Sacramento Bible Institute. There was nobody else on campus except Barbara Schneider. And she said, "Well, I don't know what to do with you, so I'm going to take you down and introduce you to a guy by the name of Phil Balsley." And I spent the rest of the weekend helping Phil Balsley move his house from one part of Carmichael to the other. When it came time to start school on Monday, I was so sore I could hardly get out of bed. And that's my first memory of Barbara. We've known Barbara and Bruce and the family pretty well over the years. Barbara introduced me to the guy that turned out to be the best man in my wedding. I think my memories of Barbara are the people that she brought into my life. The guy that was the head usher at my wedding, Bruce, and the children. And I really appreciate her sensitivity to know what we need when we don't know ourselves a lot of times. Barbara is pretty strong-willed. You know that if you know Barbara. And this morning, as I was deciding, what I was going to put on this old body, I could see her going, I dare you to wear blue jeans, a t-shirt, and a baseball cap. I appreciate the challenge to walk with Jesus Christ with conviction and with my head up that Barbara and Bruce and the family has brought into my life. And so we rejoice with Barbara this morning as she has retired. And praise God that she's retired a little earlier than a lot of us. A lot of us have to wait a lot longer than she did. And so I just thank the Lord for Barbara and the influence that she's had in my life and in the life of my family as well.